Our next speaker is going to be Lillian Jacobson. Lillian's a Baltimore-based Latina artist of Colombian descent, defining belonging through figurative painting. Adopted into a white American family, Lillian has always been attuned to how she is seen by others, which informs her empathetic approach to portraiture. Lillian holds a BFA in painting from the Maryland Institute College of Arts. She has exhibited in group shows across the region, including the Maryland Art Place, Chesapeake Art Center, Bowie City Hall, Maryland Federation of Art, and the Delaplane Arts Center, where she won the People's Choice Award for the 2024 exhibition Emerging Perspectives. Welcome, Lillian.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Lillian Jacobson. The title of my section of this talk, The In-Betweens, is about that messy, uncomfortable middle, the space between identities, between exhaustion and clarity, fear and joy, projection and presence. That's where my works live and where I live too. Okay, about me. I'm a figurative painter who works in oils. I'm someone who collects so many images of scenery, people, textures, patterns, and I put them all in a very large photo library on my laptop. Over time, I research the meanings and histories of the photos I take and think of how I can combine unexpected images into one painting. As for my work, I paint what I need. I bring my thoughts and experiences to my canvases. Up until last year, I was in a place where I was making just one painting a year. I was exhausted, and how do you create when you are running on empty? Everything felt like too much, but if I stopped making art, then what am I doing? And that thought was what birthed the next painting you're about to see and launched my most productive year. Lillian is tired. I created this piece in 2024. It is called Lillian is Tired. I put it up there twice because I really feel that. In the beginning of last year, I was drained from so many factors, many of which I could not control. There was an election year coming up. I was putting myself last in a lot of ways. I was working extra, unpaid hours of work each week at my job. There was and is an ongoing genocide, and I was seeing dead children on my TV every single day and could do nothing about it. I just wanted to shut down, but I still needed to show up at work in the morning, smile, and respond to some check-in question about if I was ice cream, what flavor would I be? That was a real check-in question for a meeting, and I felt like I was losing my mind. So this painting is about that kind of tired that exhausts your soul. The world is heavy, and I realized at that point last year, February of 2024, that I need to paint to process it. So in my personal life, I started to set some boundaries for myself. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. So again, I was at a point last year, I was draining myself dry, and I thought I had to be available to everyone all the time. And saying yes did make me more likable. But again, I was making only one painting a year, and I have an art degree. So saying no was necessary for me. I had to learn that boundaries is not about shutting people out, it's me deciding who gets to come in and under what terms. So now we enter my self-preservation phase. On the screen is my 2024 work, Kingdom, and on the right is a recent painting, The Daydreamer. Both of these are about protecting your world just enough so it feels safe. Kingdom is about observing, not isolating, but watching that world around you from a slight distance. Here, the subject is surrounded by a lush, vibrant landscape, but on his face, the tones are cool and the trees are bare. That divide is the boundary between his external and internal worlds. There's a calm in building your own kingdom. It is a space you get to shape. He's grounded in the world around him, but he is not consumed by it. And then we have the daydreamer. Here, the protective power is imagination. When I am overwhelmed, I daydream myself somewhere else, like a warm beach. In the bottom right corner is a sign from the Currency Studio on North Avenue. So I used to work in a deeply toxic environment whose office was across the street from that building. And I would leave work after a very horrible day and look up and read, "You are your most valuable currency." And I would think, yeah, I actually am. So that escape, walking out of that job and seeing that sign, it's like living a daydream. So these two paintings are both about holding my center and setting boundaries. Okay, this next phase. So if you are someone who is not a straight, white, US-born, cisgender man, you may have had people project onto you. And you may start to carry their labels as your own. I had to sit back in my studio and unpack what parts of me are actually mine. Which ones do I want to keep? How much of what I carry is mine? And how much was unloaded onto me? Okay, yeah, this one is personal. I've looked at clouds from both sides now. It's a self-portrait about figuring out who I am beneath everything projected onto me. The colors are from the Colombian flag, and although I was raised in the US, my Latina identity is what shapes every part of how I have to move through the world. Right now, I do not leave my house without my passport in case I need to prove I'm a US citizen. Oh, goodness, that was loud. Oof. You all felt that. I painted this in 2023, and I kept thinking back to a day after the 2016 election. I was walking to the Metro on West Baltimore Street when this man I did not know yelled at me in front of everyone, he was just very bold, "You better get your green card together, darling, because Trump is going to deport all of you." So my hands, and I get into more of that story. There is wall text in the gallery. Again, this is kind of personal, so I'm going to move past it. But I do want to point out my hands in this painting are manipulated in a way that they're both reaching forward and seeking meaning, but shielding myself and protecting myself from parts of what I find, specifically what is put onto me from others. And I'm going to move on because this painting holds a lot. Okay. I used to shrink myself to make others comfortable. I softened my voice. I held my thoughts back. I dimmed my colors. If you were someone who was told you're too much, maybe you're too opinionated, too loud, too confident, whatever, just know you are always going to be just enough for the life you're building. And these next two paintings are about taking up space for joy and just being. On the screen are I Look at Her and See the Universe and Miss Baltimore. These paintings both celebrate self-ownership and pride. We'll start with the left, I Look at Her and See the Universe. This captures that expansive, cosmic sense of true love, of finding your soulmate. The flowers are alliums, which represent good luck on a new endeavor. The face is meant to show the deep dark of the universe that is always expanding. And there is a purple martin birdhouse and fireworks going off in the background. So I wanted this all to speak to the passion, excitement, and start of a new life and home when you meet your person. Miss Baltimore shows someone who is grounded and connected to her city. She stands with confidence. Her arms are crossed. There is a keep out sign behind her. She is someone who has been underestimated before, and she does not have time for that. She may look closed off on the surface, but like Baltimore, she is not cold, she's just guarded. If you take the time and really look, you will see her color and her life. You will see she is proud and protective. She's soft, she's warm, but you don't get that part unless you come correct. I am now at the part of my artistic and personal journey that I'm not waiting for someone to say I belong. I know I do. And thank you. Then there is a kind of radical freedom in that, To define your worth on your own terms and say with your whole chest, I am here, I am home. This painting is a declaration. This is the last piece I finished for the show, and it's my largest painting to date. It is 5 by 6 feet. I am under 5 feet tall, so you can see that was a lot for me. It is titled, I Am Home. This painting is the culmination of all the other paintings I showed. I had to go through that burnout, the boundaries, the unpacking, and the defining to get to this place. The title, I Am Home, does not speak to home as a place. Home is a feeling and a claiming. In this piece, you will see the structure in the back. It's been painted bright colors, but it's totally falling apart. And in the foreground, I have this man who has the brightest smile on his face because he does not need all of that. I painted him with bricks overlaid because he and the company he keeps is the strongest foundation. So thank you for letting me share my work and my story with you. These paintings covered survival, power, joy, exhaustion, and becoming more and more me. I really hope you all could see some of yourself in them too. And let's stay connected. My name is Lillian Jacobson. I'm Lillian_Jacobson on Instagram. Thank you.